Hello everyone, this is Godzilla1 and I'm back with another toy review, and I apologize for the schedule mess up last week. Things happened. That review was supposed to actually go up on Friday, then that episode of Deltarune was supposed to come out Monday, and things got a little scrambled. So I apologize for that, but we are back on schedule with the Power of the Primes Deluxe class, the Rippersnapper. Which I admit, I always found one of the more interesting names, because you got Sinner Twin, Cutthroat, Blot, Hunger, and then Rippersnapper. Because it's Rippersnapper is basically like a little kid, and it sounds like an old way of saying little kid, so it's kind of an odd name out, but still really cool. First we're going to look at his card, which is special for a few reasons. Well, mainly one reason, but I'll get to a second reason that's kind of interesting later. But he is the only one of the Terrorcons, at least the only one we covered so far, that has them in robot mode, not beast mode. Or monster mode, whatever you want to call it. Which I find rather interesting. I don't know why they do that with him, but he is the only one that does it. And really nice picture. I love all the artwork they do for these Transformers. And he is Nexus Rippersnapper, combines with beings that make him superior. That's the other interesting thing, because he's a combiner. So, combining with things that make him superior does not seem like that much of an upgrade. Unless he can combine with random people. But that would be weird. Anyway, on to the review. He is a thing. I have not seen a lot of people be able to tell what he is. He kind of looks like a wereshark. Or that thing, or the monster from Peter Benchley's Creature. But yeah, he is a shark bipedal monster thing. And he is actually pretty cool, little monster mode. Got some nice details molded in. I kind of like that looks like gills to a degree, but then you got the gills up here painted out, picked out in silver paint, which is really nice. Shoulder cannons, always a pleasure. And he does have Titan Master pegs up here and right here. The others really don't have that many of them, but he does, so that's good. Kind of a weird plot on the cannons, though. I guess they could be manning them. And there's a head. I like the red eyes, and I like the little molded in detail Decepticon logo right there on the top in that faux rub sign look. Arms are nicely detailed. There's kind of a cheat with the hands. I mean, from the side they look fine, but you look at him from yeah, his hands aren't hiding all that well. And then neither is his head. If his mouth's not open, his head is just right there. It looks like he's wearing a mascot suit, which is kind of silly. And there's his chest. Not much to say about it in this mode, but it's a nice chest. I like the silver paint on the sides. It gives it a very nice look. If you want to make it a little different, you can fold down like that to make it look a little less obviously his chest, I guess, or obviously the same chest. I mean, that's for feature in robot mode, but you can do it. And not much to speak of down here. Got a little tiny tail back here, but it is decked out in a lot of detail. I do like it. But yeah, I've always liked this mode. It's unidentifiable. There's not much monsters in fiction that look like this, but yeah, he's a wereshark. He's Peter Benchley's Creature. He is something. As for articulation, shoulder cannons can move down all the way to point directly over his shoulder and do a 360. They can come off, but that really doesn't do much in this mode, but they are the normal, standard size for the pegs, so they can fit into any robot's hands you want them to. Mouth does open, and that also covers up his head, but it also does reveal nice silver painted teeth, which is much appreciated. They are rounded off, but of course, it's safety laws. Arms are very articulated. Probably one of the most articulated beast mode. I think he is the most articulated beast mode out of all of them, but except for, well, he shares that with Blot, but full arm movement, 360 bicep, elbow bends. Well, it's on a ball joint, so everything. Wrists can swivel, though if you do it too far, you reveal that they're actually his robot mode hands. Hind legs, and this is actually why I call them most articulate. Hind legs can go out all the way, can do a full 360, and have a bit of knee articulation. Like, so it doesn't go that far back, but can go forward all the way up. So you do get a bit of posability out of his legs that the others don't have. And the tail can move down all the way between his legs and up all the way there. So very good range on his tail. So articulation-wise, he is really good. He's got probably, I do believe he is the most articulate of the beast modes. So, yeah, I do like that about him, that he's very articulated in this mode. Of course, it's because the arms don't transform all that much, but still. As for accessories, you do get his handgun, which is the exact same handgun they all come with, except in blue. And to store it in beast mode, you can plug it in right here. And, yeah, not that, like, the other two had much better storage options. He just, like, has it on his back. But it has to go somewhere. Anyway, that's it for beast mode. I really do like his beast mode. But let's get on to his other modes. To start with, you want to take the arms. There is a peg right here and a slot right there. And you can want to slot it in right there. Do that to both of them. Might want to do this later in the combination, actually. And you can do whatever you want. I prefer to rotate the arms like this so that they look a little more hidden. Then you want to fold the legs up all the way there. Like, you know, all the way to that. And peg inside, tab right there. And they go in, easy peasy. Now, you do want to fold the tail all the way up. If you want to, you can actually get it to go in there more snugly. I'm not, because it doesn't really do all that much. You can finagle it however you feel like to get it flush. And you can also, like, rotate them around to the waist to get this whatever facing forwards you wish to. But the default configuration is this. And then you unpeg the head. You do want to fold that up and then fold out the combiner peg, which can be difficult because this likes to pop off when you do it while you're doing it. Do it like that. And there you have him in leg mode. And he does look very good. He is a good-looking leg. And I do like him as a leg, but there's one huge problem with him being a leg. Never make him a leg. And the reason is, I've seen a lot of people warn about this connection port is way too thin. Like, and you can't really see it due to my camera, but it's actually showing stress on it, and I've only had him in leg mode once. Now, the problem with this is, in leg mode, all of Abominus's weight is set on this. So, if you keep it in leg mode too long, it runs the risk of breaking. Arm mode is okay so long as you don't move the wrist all that often. I have not, and he's already showing signs of stress, which my camera cannot pick up. So, he looks good in leg mode, but never put him in leg mode. Unless you want to break your Rippersnapper. So he's definitely going to be an arm for my Abominus, and he has been. He's a good arm. And let's get into that. Now, to get him into arm mode, you just want to unfold this section, and he's got that really annoying knee trick where you've got to align his knees just right. You want them up like that so that everything tabs in securely. Then you rotate everything to the side, whichever side you feel like. Fold this up back here. Again, you can do things to get it to fold up more flush. There's just no real reason to, in my opinion. And lastly, take his handgun, turn it into hand mode, and gently insert it. You want to be very gentle with that because, of course, that's very fragile in there. Hasbro, what were you thinking? But anyway, there he is in arm mode, and thankfully he is a nice-looking arm. Like, seriously, he is a really good arm. I like the cannons. They give him a nice, like, bit of look, and they fill things out a little bit. You can do however you want officially, like the head is supposed to rest right there, or you don't have to put it there if you don't want to. But he is a good arm. He is a really good arm. I do like him. And same articulation, he has a, elbow joint. It's really tight on mine. Elbow rotation can do that. You can do this, but I don't because, again, fragile wrist connector. So, yeah, just be careful with that and gently remove it. Anyway, now on to full robot mode. You just separate this, come in here, and fold everything like, everything will accordion in and peg together nicely. I do appreciate that. But what I don't appreciate is that this whole shtick with his tail and how it works is essentially the reason that he ends up with this problem. So I wish they'd done something different with that. I'm really not happy with how they did that, because it basically means he is not able to be a leg, and he makes me a little scared of making him do many poses as an arm. And then you just want to maneuver these into place, rotate them so the fists are now visible, and then raise my camera up because he is currently too tall. There. And lastly, if you got him in arm mode, put the head down, and there we have a Rippersnapper in robot mode. And I do like his robot mode. He looks really cool. Let's get a close-up in of his face. Very nice face. Again, very blocky, because originally in G1 these were the connector ports for the combiner. But overall, nice head sculpt. I like the red eyes. Here's the thing with red eyes. I do like that about him. Kind of reminds me of some other Transformers, but I do like how he looks. No real new details, because this was his back in Beast mode. The chest is like this. You do get to see his belt buckle now, which is kind of cool. Like the V on it. I think they make it an A for Abominus, but whatever. And his arm, okay, his arms are exactly the same. Like, that's one of the big visual problems with this, is his arms are basically exactly the same. You can just see his hands now. Beggars can't be choosers. But overall, really nice. Not a lot to talk about, though, because, again, you saw most of this in his Beast mode. But we can talk about articulation. Head is on a ball joint, can look up that far. It can look down a little tiny bit. Full 360. Shoulders, go, get the full range of motion. Can go all the way up. And there's actually another joint in here which you can now fully use, because the head's not in the shark head's not in the way, to get his arm all the way up, which is appreciated. On one of mine's arms, which one is it? On one of my arms, that happens. Like, this pops down like that, which you can kind of sort of use for added articulation, but you're really not supposed to. Given the other one does not budge at all, I'm assuming that's just molding for Blot, because these two are mold brothers, and I'm pretty sure that is just there for Blot, not for him. So it's not really supposed to move. Mine just does. It pops off. If you try to move it too much, it really likes to pop off, and I'm not sure what you could gain from using it anyway. But you can if yours is like mine and can do it. His other arm doesn't, so I'm assuming it's not supposed to. Onto the lower down. His arms are exactly the same. Like, his arms have not changed at all. They are the exact same arms. They just got that little new bit of articulation you can do. He now has a waist joint, which is unobstructed. Can do full 360 very nicely. Well, maybe not 360 because things start to bump in. No, he can do 360 just fine. Hips are unobstructed. Well, okay, not completely unobstructed. They can't go full split, but they can go out pretty far. Can go forward all the way, back all the way. Has a rotation above the knee, where it should be. 90-degree knee. And nothing in the ankles. So, overall, he's really posable in both modes, which makes him one of my favorite of the Terrorcons. He can get in some really nice poses. And of course, accessory-wise, he just has the shoulder cannons, but as I said, they can pop off if you want to have him hold them like normal guns. He can do that, but why would you? Because he's got shoulder cannons. I like shoulder cannons. But, yeah, and one thing I do like, though, is though he doesn't have an accessory, he does have, of course, the Wolverine claws, which are always cool and can give him a lot of nice poses. So, while he doesn't have a dedicated accessory and just has these shoulder cannons, I feel that he wears it well. And, of course, you do have the silly hand-foot gun thing, which you can put in his arm, but, of course, what they want to do with the Prime Armor is this. Which, to be fair, Again, he's one of the ones that can do it fairly effectively because it actually pegs in. It still looks ridiculous, but it can just peg in. So he wears it better than a lot of them do. Because he actually has a peg in for it instead of it trying to clamp around something. Not really a good option to put it on his arm, and I don't really feel there's any real reason to. And he doesn't really have any storage for it, unfortunately. That's my one gripe, is he doesn't really have any open peg holes to store it with. Like, that is one real gripe I have. Well, but mine is actually really solid. Like, I think of the Terrorcons I got, he's the most solid out of the bunch. So that's nice. And really, that's all there is to say about him. He's just a solid figure, except for one, a few gripes and one major flaw, which is, of course, this thing. I'm sure a third party will release some sort of upgrade set to remedy that. They always do. But overall, he's a really nice figure. Like, he can get into some really good poses. He looks good in them because he's got, of course, Wolverine claws, which are always nice. And he's molded to, he's got that, molded A stance, and he's got a really solid foot with a big heel. So he poses really well. He looks really cool. And in general, if Blot had not been a little better, in my opinion, he would be my favorite of the wave. Like, he would be my favorite of the Terrorcon set. But anyway, I really like him. I really like the Terrorcons, as I've said before. Again, this was one of the guys I posed fighting Godzilla in his beast mode because he kind of looked very kaiju-esque. One of the reasons I like the Terrorcons. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe. Consider joining me for my live streams on Wednesday and Saturday, assuming crap doesn't happen, which does, of course, happen all the time. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye! I still don't have a catchphrase.